This lonely man paid me to spend time with him. This is my channel. Welcome to my channel. Today I will tell you a very romantic and very emotional story. And this is a very long story. So please support me by watching it till the end, and also please subscribe to my channel. My name is Lily, and I am 24 years old. I'm an only child in my parents' home in a village in the countryside of England. I have a degree in psychology, and I work as a psychologist. I was born and grew up here in the village, and my parents are well known in the area. Everyone knows them. They own a small shop at the entrance of our village. It's the first building you see when you enter our village. It's a gift shop, and most of the people who come to our village buy gifts from there. That shop brought our family a lot of money. I can say that we've never had any financial problems. The thing is that even though our family was doing quite well financially, my parents were very strict with me. They didn't allow me to waste a single penny because they wanted me to value money. And so I had very little pocket money. I didn't have enough to buy myself new clothes or cosmetics. I had to wear old things until they wore out. Sometimes I would ask my mom for a few extra pounds so I could go shopping in the neighboring town, but she would always refuse. She was very strict with me, and she kept saying that I should work harder if I wanted more money. When I turned 18, I started working in the shop after school to earn some money. I was able to save up a few £100 in 3 months, but then my parents took it away from me and said I wasn't working hard enough. I felt like a robot without emotions. It seemed like they were trying to turn me into a robot who didn't feel anything. Then I decided to leave home and move to the city to study psychology. When I graduated from university, I returned to my hometown. I got a job at a local clinic and moved back in with my parents. They told me I had to pay rent, but they also told me to keep working in their shop. I worked 2 jobs and couldn't find time to relax. I couldn't go anywhere or do anything. I just worked. I was like a machine without emotions, just working and making money. And one day, I met a guy at work. He was the only one who dared to talk to me because everyone else was scared of my parents. He was kind, helpful, and attentive. We became friends and eventually started dating. One day he asked me to marry him. Of course I said yes. But before the wedding, he told me he needed to introduce me to his parents. I didn't think much of it. I had no idea what was going on in his head. So the next day he took me to meet his parents. When we arrived at his house, I noticed that it looked different than mine. It was a big mansion surrounded by a beautiful garden. I thought, wow, I wonder how they afford to live in such a big house. Then I saw his parents, and I was shocked. They were my parents. I couldn't believe my eyes. I asked them, how is this possible? They said, well, your dad and our son ran away from home because they couldn't stand living under our strict regime anymore. Your father went to study and became a successful businessman, and our son went to study psychology and now works at a clinic. We never found out what happened to you. We were so worried about you that we put up a search for you in all the newspapers, but then we stopped hearing about you. We assumed you had died. We didn't know you were alive. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I knew my parents were strict, but I didn't know they were that strict. After talking for a bit, we decided to go to a restaurant. There were many expensive cars parked outside. I was sitting in the Audi R8. It was a beautiful car. But then I noticed a stranger. He was looking at us and smiling. I thought, who is that guy, and why is he smiling at me? Then I realized that it was me. It was me because I looked exactly like him. I learned that he was my twin brother. It turned out that my parents had given birth to twins, a boy and a girl. But right after I was born, I was put up for adoption because my parents couldn't take care of 2 babies. That's why I grew up in an orphanage. I was so shocked to learn that I had a brother and a whole other family. I couldn't speak. I was speechless. Then my brother spoke up and said, "So it's true. The stories Grandma and Grandpa told us about you, are they true? Did they really give you up for adoption because you were a burden?" I nodded and tears streamed down my face. I was so sad. I had always felt abandoned, but I never knew why. Now I knew the truth. I hugged my brother and said, "I'm sorry I made you suffer. You didn't do anything wrong. It wasn't your fault. Don't blame yourself." Then my parents came over and apologized. They were crying. They said, "We're so sorry, Lily. We didn't mean to hurt you. We were young and couldn't take care of 2 babies. We hope you understand." I told them it was okay and that I forgave them. But deep down inside, I wasn't okay. I couldn't forgive them. I still have nightmares about being abandoned. I still cry when I think about it. After spending some time with my new family, we went home. On the way, my boyfriend drove us past a lake. It was a beautiful place with swans swimming around. But suddenly, bam, my brother crashed the car into the lake. We were all terrified. The windows shattered and water poured in. I screamed, "Help! Someone, please help us." My brother was unconscious, and my parents were trapped in the wreckage. I unbuckled my seatbelt and swam to the surface. I managed to get out of the car and call for help. The ambulance arrived first, and they took my brother and parents away. At the hospital, the doctors said my brother would make a full recovery, but my parents had died. I couldn't believe it. I had finally found my real family, and now they were gone. I cried so much. I couldn't stop crying. I felt terrible. I blamed myself for crashing the car and killing my parents. One day, a social worker came to visit me. She said, "Lily, I'm sorry to tell you this, but your brother and his wife want to adopt you. They want you to live with them." I couldn't believe it. I thought, really? They actually want to adopt me? I had just killed their parents, and now they wanted to adopt me. I said yes, because I couldn't go back to the orphanage. I lived with my new family and tried to be happy, but I couldn't shake off the feeling that I was a burden. One day, my brother came up to me and said, "Lily, I know you're blaming yourself for what happened, but it wasn't your fault. I know you're not comfortable living with us yet, but please try to get along with us. I promise you won't regret it. I know you're not ready to live with us now, but please try. I promise you won't regret it. I promise to try." The following week, my brother and his wife came to pick me up and take me to live with them. Their house was huge, just like a palace. It had more than 10 rooms. I thought, wow, how did they afford to live in such a big house? It turns out they inherited this house from their parents. It was huge. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't go back to the orphanage. I accepted their offer and moved in with them. When we arrived, their daughter came to greet me. Her name is Emma, and she's 10 years old. She was a sweet girl, and immediately told me, "Welcome to our home." I smiled and said thank you. Then she took me on a tour of the house. She showed me her room and her toys. She even showed me where her favorite teddy bear was. She said, "This is my favorite teddy bear. Can you hug him for me?" "Of course," I said. I picked up the teddy bear and hugged it. It was soft and fluffy. Suddenly, Emma's dad came into the room and said, "Emma, sweetheart, come with me for a bit." "Okay, Dad." Emma left with her father, and I was left alone. I thought, wow, he must love her so much. Most fathers don't spend time with their children. Suddenly, Emma's mom came into the room and said, "Lily, would you like some tea?" "Sure," I said. I sat down at the table and waited for my tea. Then Emma's mother spoke up and said, "I know you're not comfortable living with us, but please try to get along with us. I know you're not ready to live with us now, but please try. I promise you won't regret it." Then Emma's dad came in and said, "Yeah, I know you're not comfortable living with us, but please try to get along with us. I know you're not ready to live with us now, but please try. I promise you won't regret it." Emma's mom and dad both said the same thing. I thought, Wow, they must really want me to live with them. I said yes because I couldn't go back to the orphanage. Then Emma's dad came up to me and said, "Listen, Lily, I know you're not comfortable living with us, but please try to get along with us. I know you're not ready to live with us now, but please try. I promise you won't regret it." I told him it was okay. I said, "Don't worry. I'll try my best to get along with you." But it wasn't easy. I couldn't get used to living in that big house. I missed my old life. I missed my friends and my job. I also missed my boyfriend. I couldn't get over him. I mean, we had been together for 4 years and he had been the only guy I'd ever dated. But then I met a new guy and he helped me get over my ex. His name is Ben and he's a police officer. He's kind, helpful, and funny. We started dating and eventually he proposed to me. I said yes, of course. Now I'm married to Ben and I couldn't be happier. I have a wonderful husband and a beautiful house. I have everything I ever wanted. I want to say thank you to my brother and his wife. If it hadn't been for them, I wouldn't be where I am today. I know I'm not a perfect person. I have a lot of flaws. I'm selfish, self-centered, and irresponsible. But despite all my flaws, my brother and his wife welcomed me into their home and gave me a chance to start over. I'm so grateful to them. I love them so much.